Alrighty, welcome back to the show. Today we have Merrick Rosenberg on us today. We're happy to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Alrighty, and this is the first one we've done. We're going to split it into two segments. Segment two will come out next week. But we're going to start off today with asking him what are the four types of personality.
Sure. So there are four main types, and what I did is I broke them into four bird styles because I think it's easier to remember as opposed to kind of a alphabet soup of letters that typically represent personality types. So we've got eagles. You can see the eagle, confident, assertive, direct. They are in charge. Parrots, you can see that big smile over my shoulder, happy, fun, social, enthusiastic, optimistic, very talkative. Then you've got doves. That's the soft-spoken, caring, harmonious. They just want everyone to get along. They're good listeners. And owls, logical, analytical, detail-oriented. They have a process, a plan, lots of questions. They want to do something right.
Right. So using these four, excuse me. So you started a career path with personality, and how did you go about starting this career path? What made you do it?
Well, way back in 1991, I started one of the first team building companies in the United States. There were just a handful of organizations that taught people how to work together. And then a few years after that, I discovered personality styles, and I thought, well, that's the key. That's how you teach people how to understand themselves and understand their coworkers. When you understand yourself and you understand your coworkers, you can create a great environment. So it was all about just creating a good culture for people where they loved going to work.
Yeah. So you're the founder, I want to say the founder, CEO, president, one of those of Take Flight Learning. So what exactly does that company go about doing?
So we go into organizations and we teach people how to work together better. We teach people how to use their personality so they can drive success, how they can communicate better, how they can work better with others, how leaders can create a great environment for their people, how salespeople can sell better. And it's all about using personality to build relationships and just get along with people.
Right. Seems like personality goes into a lot so far.
Yep, absolutely.
So you also wrote a book called The Chameleon, or
The chameleon.
The Chameleon. Yep, I'm bad with words. Um, but I guess that's on your website, right?
Yes. Yep, you can get on Amazon too. And essentially that's about teaching people the four birds. The four birds are in the forest and they have to deal with a whole variety of different situations. There's 22 fables, and there's the wise, all-knowing chameleon that comes in, shares some wisdom, and then disappears. Kind of that Yoda-like character, that wise, all-knowing creature who just comes in to help out and teach them a lesson about how to use their personality. And then once it shares the lesson, once he shares it, he's out of there.
Yeah. Again, that's The Chameleon, Amazon, or on his website, which is takeflightlearning.com. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
I knew it. All right. So we all know people can be very complicated, right? And how do you simplify it just to four styles of people?
Well, it's that there are four styles, but you're not just one of them. You're a combination of all four. So when you combine them, it really creates a wide variety of behaviors that people can have. For me, for example, I'm more of the parrot with a secondary eagle. So my parrot's pretty strong, which means that I'm outgoing and talkative. That's why I love being on stage. I want people to learn and grow, but I also have eagle. I want people to get results. I want people to use it. I want people to implement it, make things happen. And so when you combine the parrot and eagle, you get something a little bit different. So that's what happens is that even though we are incredibly complex beings, when you mix these four styles in an assortment of ways, it really creates a pattern for a person, and it explains why they do what they do.
Yeah. If anyone has a fear of public speaking, I did an episode on this. I'll put a link up or something up here later on, and that'll take you to it. We did it on public speaking. If you ever have a fear, just go there. That'll get rid of your fear.
One of the biggest fears. Parrots don't have that fear. Doves and owls don't tend to love public speaking.
I didn't tend to much like it at first either. So All right. So in the category of like leadership and leadership skills, is one style better than the other, or what do you think about that?
No, every one of the styles can be a great leader. Your personality does not determine how successful you will be as a leader, but it absolutely determines how you will go about being a leader. So an eagle leader may be focusing on results. A owl leader focuses on quality. A parrot leader focuses on creating a great environment where people are having fun. A dove leader might focus on making sure people are happy and really enjoy what they do. So each leader is going to focus on something different, but they can all be incredibly successful. You have someone like Steve Jobs, who's an eagle, self-made billionaire. Howard Schultz from Starbucks, dove, self-made billionaire. Bill Gates, he's an owl. Richard Branson, he's a parrot. All self-made billionaires. They went about it very differently, though, but every style can be incredibly successful and be a great leader.
Yeah, because some people would think that the eagle is the better leader, but
Yeah, they think that, and eagles can be great leaders, but any style can be a great leader. I think in America we have this image of eagle leadership, but that's not necessarily true. In fact, if you look at past presidents of the United States, uh, there's it's not an abundance of eagles. It's actually a pretty good mix of all four styles.
yeah. So in the category of teams and working together, which I'm not one to work together with too many people, but that's just me. Um, should a team have, people with all four styles, two styles?
Well, a team should have what it should have. If you have a group of accountants, you're probably going to have a lot of owls. If you have a group of salespeople, you'll probably have a lot of parrots. I go into hospitals and you see a lot of nurses or doves, a lot of doctors or eagles. Not all of them, of course, but predominantly that is a true statement. And so sometimes you will have a group of all one style, and that's what you need because that's the skill set you need, and those people are drawn to that job. But when you do have a diverse team, there's no doubt about it. Diverse teams have a wider view of what's going on, and they think about all of the styles, not just that one. So having a diverse group is actually pretty powerful, but your team may just be one style and it may be just what you need.
Right. And do some people prefer to work alone rather than in teams, which,
Yeah, absolutely. Right. If you think about the owls like working alone. Why? Because I know if I just am given my task, I can do it, I'll do it right. Eagles like to work alone because they feel like, hey, if you give it to me, I'll get it done and I'll get it done now. I don't want to have to wait for other people. Whereas parrots love working with people. Doves too. Doves typically enjoy working with a smaller group, maybe one or two people, but not like a large group where parrots are like, bring it on, let's do it.
right. And back up to leadership for a minute here, because I skipped over it, but leaders often, they have to communicate a lot with a lot of people at one time, and like we having to communicate with each other a lot to coordinate things. Um, can you use the personality styles to better be a better communicator, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about leadership. If and you're a leader and you have to communicate something to your staff. Instead of just communicating in your style, so let's say I'm a parrot, how am I going to announce change? I'm probably going to announce it as a parrot. But if I approach a group and I say, all right, bottom line, here's what we're going to do. I appeal to the eagles. Let me tell you, this is going to be amazing. Then I appeal to the parrots. It's going to be okay. Don't worry. I appeal to the doves. Let me walk you through the details. I appeal to the owl. If I am talking to a large group, I can hit all four styles, but I have to consciously think about when I get to that eagle style right up front, I better get to bottom line and give them the goal. For the parrots, be enthusiastic and optimistic. For the doves, be reassuring. For the owls, provide details and information and logic. So communicating, whether it's one-on-one or in a large group, you can use all the styles, and it's powerful to do that.
Right. And in the sales area, salespeople, like you said, have to really be outgoing. They can't be too quiet, or they're not really going to make a sale.
Well, although you can have a reserved salesperson, if you had a dove salesperson, they could be great at just building that relationship and that connection. Owls tend to be more reserved too, but they're great at explaining the features and benefits of their product. The challenge a dove or an owl might have is closing the deal, being assertive and saying, all right, you ready to go for it? Are you ready to sign on the dotted line? Whereas the parrots and the eagles, they might want to provide very little detail because they're like, here you go for it. But the problem is that they may not provide enough information for owls. So when you're selling, you have to think about, who am I talking to and how do I connect with that person?
Yeah.
But all four styles are needed in sales, though.
Yeah. I know my father used to work in sales for probably over 10 years. He's a very outgoing person, still is. More outgoing than I would ever probably imagine to be.
He's probably the parrot.
Yes.
Most sales folks are parrots. That is true.
Yeah. If you're watching, don't be offended, Father. That's nothing bad.
I'm a parrot. Parrots are good.
Okay.
But I'll bet your style is more, you have that owl dove style. It's more reserved. And so as a career, sales may not necessarily be the career path that you aspire to, but you'll find a career that is something that allows your dove and owl to shine through.
Yep. It's definitely describes my style because. Okay. All right, and take a minute to pull up your website so everybody can see it on here. In the meantime, another general question is, are you able to change your personality style?
Your style changes over time, but honestly, somebody would want to do that. In other words, if you're using your personality and you're standing in the power of your personality, every one of these is a good personality style. If you try to change it, it's going to take a lot of energy. And the reality is that, you're not going to ever, if you're a strong eagle and a very not very strong dove, you're never going to be a strong dove and a not very strong eagle. You're hardwired. So will your personality change over time? Sure, it does change over time, but that's because it evolves over time and it morphs into the roles that you're in at that point in your life. But wanting to change your personality doesn't really help very much.
Right. Okay, so take flight. Start. Oh, okay. All right, so it should pull up on your screen there.
Sure.
Is it there now?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So, takeflightlearning.com. You have a bunch of things up the top that you can scroll through, go through. If it would scroll down, there we go. You have your 4 birds.
Yep, absolutely. And those are the different training programs that we offer. We go into companies and teach people about their style, which is the Taking Flight with Disc session. The Chameleon Leadership is a leadership course. It's often rediscovering conflict, obviously teaches people how to manage conflict using the birds, and then selling and innovation. And then we do a lot of certifications too. So we certify trainers on how to deliver this in their own organizations.
Yep. Which is, I think, is what I did, was called the DISC thing.
Yep. And DISC is the foundation of, if people are tuning in and they're think, I've taken a DISC assessment. DISC has been around since 1928. Nobody owns the DISC model, but I parallel the DISC model with the eagles, parrots, doves, and owls. The D is the eagle, I is the parrot, S is the dove, and C is the owl. So DISC has been around a long time, and nobody owns it, so it's just kind of out there in the public domain. But I'm kind of using those same 4 styles that have actually been around for thousands of years. The Chinese used the same 4 styles. Of course, they named them something different. The Greek culture named them something different. But once again, 4 of them. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah, and I guess you do the you speak on the keynote speaking as well. So
yes, have a lot of fun going to companies and conferences and teaching people about themselves.
I'm sure people need to learn about themselves.
I think the most self-aware people are the happiest people. They tend to be the most successful, make the most money in their careers, just because they put themselves in a position where they're going to be successful.
Right. Of course, here's your book again. If you go on the website, buy now link is there. And then a explanation video on why we're different.
Yep, exactly.
Of course, everything else that's on this website, but if we had time, I still wouldn't go through everything because it's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of different training programs and keynote talks and certifications and videos to watch and newspaper articles to read, just filled with info. It's all about the birds.
All about the birds, right? Okay. All right. So you do the training and going around teaching, which I think it's important. You know, it's a good thing to teach people about their style, so people are aware. So if you just met, say I just went and met somebody, well, I just met you. How could I tell your personality style?
So does someone have big energy, or is it more quiet and reserved? You know, if I walked up to you and I said, "Hey, how are you? Great to meet you," you can see that's probably a lot of parrot. Whereas if I said, "Hello, how are you? My name's Merrick. It's so nice to meet you," probably can guess that's more of a dove. If I'm like, "Hi there, Merrick Roosenberg," you can feel eagle confidence. And for the owl, you can feel the "Hello, nice to meet you," more logical, business-like.
Right. All right. And then obviously there's, my guess is there's combinations of these different styles.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I'm more of a parrot eagle. My wife is an owl dove. My children have different combo styles too, so you can see the differences in the four styles.
Right. Excuse me. All right. And then obviously, like you said, why would you want to change your style? Do they happen to just change over the years, over time, or?
Yep, styles do change over time without a doubt. Let's say you're younger and you're more of an eagle owl, then as you get older, you become more of an owl eagle. It can change in any direction. Let's say you're more of a parrot and a dove, and then as you get older, your owl gets stronger, your parrot gets a little lower. That happens. Our style does change over time.
Right. And of course, I'm guessing as the same way as you said, you can tell if you just met them over the phone. Is it the same? You know, if to figure out a style, the high energy, the low energy.
Yeah. On a phone call, do they ask you tons of questions? That's probably an owl. Do they jump right to the point? That's probably an eagle. Do they ask you how you're doing? How are you? You know, that's the dove. They check in with you. Do they tell lots of stories with great enthusiasm? That's the parrot. That when you see the styles in person, you have that extra body language you can tune into, but you can still phone when you're talking on the phone.
Right. And an email. I know that like some people you can tell wording. We trying to tell what they're trying to go for, different wording, if it's bolded or not. Usually bolding means that they're yelling at you. Sometimes.
Yeah, you can tell from an email. Look, eagles are right to the point. Owls, there's tons of details and questions and information and attachments. Doves, they always start off with, "Hi, how are you? I hope you're okay. Wishing you a great weekend" at the end. And the parrot, exclamation points like "Hi!" exclamation point. "Hope things going well!" exclamation point. "Here's the info you requested!" exclamation point. You can always tell the parrot it's just bursting with energy, even in that written form.
Yeah. All right. So say, well, I am a combo of an owl, or not, yeah, an owl and a dove. Is it like
right? So that's your style, right?
Yes.
So you got to take the profile. So your owl and dove are both strong for you. So if you think about those two styles, the dove is very patient. They're good listeners. They're caring. They care about others. The owl wants things to be right. They're accurate. They do tend to be the perfectionist. They want to do things. They get the patience from the dove and the need for accuracy from the owl. They care about people, but they're also not jumping out in the spotlight and jumping onto the center stage and want all that attention. They often like to do things behind the scenes. That style tends to be someone who who has like one or two close friends instead of 50 kind of they're my friend. They're the person who just wants to hang out with one or two people and be. They don't need to go out every day and every night. They just want to be with others. What do you think? Does that sound resonate with you?
I'm gonna tell you that sounds pretty dead on accurate. So yeah, because I'm not very, or I try not that very outgoing, but I do like things, and that's something that runs for this family of mine is OCD. It's terrible. But
well, it's the owl style with the dial turned up a lot. Owls like to have things in its place, and they like to do things properly. But when you keep cranking that dial, they get to a space where like they need everything to be just perfect. Everything has a place. Everything stays in its place. They're very organized and structured, which is healthy. We just have to be careful not to dial it up too much.
Yeah. And I'm gonna read half this sentence because you'll have to figure out everybody else had to tune in next week to figure out what the other half of this sentence says from this profile report here. It says, Skyler, people who score like you may tend to get bogged down in details during the decision making, and I will see y'all next week because that is all the time we have today. Alrighty. Thank you.